everyone. I hope you're doing great. And this is our September 14th training call. Bear with me as this is my first time using my new webinar platform, which is Webinar Jam, but there's lots of amazing features. So hopefully it will be better than our last one. So for tonight's and I guess this week's training call, as a kickoff to the new year, I went for a walk and really thought, okay, what could I really share with my team to help them get ahead this year? This year meaning this business year from September 2015 to June 2016. Our business years kind of are aligned to the kids' school years. So when I really looked back over my experience at getting my business from zero to a place where I could quit my job, there were three major things that were major learning lessons for me. They didn't happen overnight. They took many months to unfold and get to. Sometimes the breakthroughs were really quick, but to get to those realizations took me a long time. I'm a pretty stubborn person sometimes, so I probably thought I knew all of the answers and made it a little bit more difficult than what I needed to have. So what I'm hoping from this call is that I can share those learnings with you and maybe speed up your process just a little bit, which would be nice. So let's get started. I'm just going to share my screen with you. And I know that I've shared these learnings in the past, maybe separately. I'm not sure if I've actually ever shared them all together. So hopefully some of these will ring true for you and resonate with you and help you change at this moment in time. So let's get started. I call it 3 hacks that every new network marketer should know. So the first one, set your 90, 12-month, and 24-month goals and make them crystal clear. You may be saying, okay, April, I think we know this. This is kind of ridiculous. This is so obvious, but hold on, let me explain. And the reason why I want to explain this tip is because I heard this so much in my first year of training and building my business that I would actually get frustrated because I felt like, yeah, I already know this. I've already done this, but now I need to know how to get ahead of my business. Just give me a to-do list. And I've noticed this, with a lot of people that they're like, yeah, I get it. But they actually, most people I find, 8 out of 10 people haven't set their goals. And of the 15% that did set their goals, very few of them had set very clear and specific goals, okay? But let's dig deeper a little bit further. It's one thing to sort of set your goals. I find most people get into USANA because they need to solve a problem. The business itself and the products itself resonates with them. Maybe they love health and wellness. They have a reason to care for their health. They feel like it's a business that could align with them and it's something that could be a revenue generator for themselves and their family. Whatever their reason may be, normally they have a problem to solve in their life. It could be time, it could be income, it could be both. It could be just better solutions or being a little bit more financially savvy, whatever it is. So what I have found, though, that as people get into the business, A, they may or may not set their goals. Most of the times they don't. And B, they don't necessarily declare them. So I guess that comes with lack of clarity towards your goals, but they don't align with it. And I notice this because time and time again, when I sit down with people, especially what I call new business owners, anywhere from 1 day up to 6 months of having their business, and they really just, aren't 100% clear. And most of the time when I ask them, what is it that you want? They really don't know. So I'll give you an example. Yesterday I met with somebody and I said, okay, now you've been doing this for a few months and we really want to move forward at a quicker pace. Let's just start with the income. What kind of income is it that you'd like to create? Even though they started with the intention of creating an income, as they get into it, they're like, well, in this particular case, they said, oh, well, money's not really important. I can afford to keep the business going either way. I just really want to help people. And I was like, well, I think for the purposes of our meeting and really getting you ahead, that's not quite going to cut it. What is your financial goal? And this particular person said, I really just don't have one. And I was like, again, we need something to work towards. We need something to get us going. We need something to be able to set targets against. And eventually we were able to get to a basic goal, but it took some digging and digging and digging. I want to dig further into my point. So it goes beyond the surface of goal setting, which is at the very top layer. What I have found on the second layer is that these feelings, they seem like fear, they seem like rejection, they keep people paralyzed and not in action. Let's go even further to my point. What I've realized in working with hundreds of people over the course of almost a decade now is that a lot of people, it comes down to their own personal self-worth. So people feel that maybe they're not worthy of the abundance, they're not worthy of the time freedom, they're not worthy of building their own lifestyle that they've crafted. And that might have a lot to do with some earlier beliefs, maybe the way they were raised. I know for me, it was different from my parents, it was different from my siblings, and it was just hard to break away from that. I was almost even afraid to tell them about that. I knew they might not necessarily approve, not that they would disapprove, but I don't know that they would know how to approve because it's just so different. I was taught to go to school, get a job, stay in a job, look for a job with a pension, these types of things that would look on the surface like a success. But for me, they just didn't have enough meaning and I wasn't living a purpose-driven life. So I had to break free. But as you can imagine, as I went from the process of enrolling in my business to not really setting very clear goals with very clear intention, to feeling fear and rejection, and then that which would lead to procrastination, and then really sitting down with myself and saying, okay, why is this really happening? What I realized at this long process, which I think, I'm not kidding, took me over a year, it got me to that point of self-worth. So if I can save a year of reflection for you, if you find yourself procrastinating, if you find yourself in fear, it might quite simply boil down to self-worth. Now let's talk about that. Self-worth, you could also call it self-esteem. That's not necessarily something that we're born with. That's not something that just some people have and some people don't. It's actually a skill that you can build yourself. So when I finally got to the conclusion that, oh my gosh, I need to build my self-esteem, my self-confidence, my self-worth, I was able to go out and seek out the activities that would really help me. When I found those activities and did the activities, literally it changed my life within 30 days and my income started to skyrocket. So that's how powerful and how quickly this can be if this might be an issue for you. So some of the tools that help me, I've got 3 main tools. Any one of these might work. I used probably 2 of them the most. One of them is Mirror Exercises by Louise Hay. So if you Google Louise Hay, she's probably, I think, one of the best spiritual self-esteem coaches that we have in the world today. She has a lot of resources. You can watch her on YouTube. She has videos. She has books. But she teaches self-worth and self-esteem through saying self-affirmations in a mirror, like, I love you, over and over and over again throughout the day. And it may seem simple, but it's very powerful. And, you know, you do that over the course of a month. By the end of the month, you know, you look back on maybe something like your journal entries from day 1 to day 30, and you'll think your journal entries from day 1 will seem like a different person. You'll seem like, oh my gosh, I can't even believe that I would write something like that about myself. It seems so negative. Whereas on day 1, you might look at that and go, that doesn't seem negative at all. So it's amazing how transformational it can be. So Mirror Exercises, Louise Hay, Google it, discover it for yourself. That might be something that worked for you. The next 2 are what I used. So the one that I used the most that had my big transformational breakthrough was Jack Canfield. And he's a psychologist and has is the co-owner of the Chicken Soup for the Soul phenomenal book series. And he's got an audio program called 10 Steps to High Self-Esteem. You can order it. I actually think you can watch it for free on YouTube now. And I would listen to that in my car over and over and over again on my way to work and on my way home from work and over the course of 30 days. And that's what really helped me. I had a lot of different breakthroughs as I was building my self-esteem. You know, sometimes you can see things that held you back. Not that that really matters, neither here nor there, but it's nice to be self-reflective. And you can write, like I said, in your journal during that time to get to this point. The second thing that I used as sort of ongoing maintenance, I would say, is I used a book called Creative Visualization by Shakti Gawain. And it helped me in creating powerful, positive affirmations that I could read to myself in the morning and at night. And it kind of helped my brain stay on track. And so it's a beautiful book. It's very simple. It really taught me how to use affirmations, which I still use to this day. And that may help you. So those are three really, really powerful tools, I think, that can get you ahead in your self-worth and self-esteem. Now, let's say you have been blessed with high self-worth, high self-confidence, high self-esteem, and you're in the business immediately. And if you're in action and getting results right away, then this may not be an issue for you. But recognize that for 80% of the people that you work with, whether that be a customer who you're doing a weight loss program with, or a health transformation with, or people that you're working with as a teammate and maybe you're their leader, this could be one of the #1 biggest challenges that they have. And I say that because I find in today's world, it's a really big issue. And I think it's going to become an even bigger issue as time moves forward, just because of media around and kids maybe not building this skill as they're growing up. So this can be something that as parents and individuals, we can really share with others. So that's #1. Let's go back to our screen share, and I'm going to do #2 with you. Okay. Your energy frequency. Okay, so this is a big one, and was even a little bit of one that frustrated me because I didn't know how to manage it or control it. And to me, it didn't seem applicable to, day-to-day business. So let me explain. As I came into this business, I was, a little bit of a know-it-all. I had had other successful businesses in the past. I had my own franchise business, which I had had for about 4 to 5 years. I had employed 8 to 10 employees at any given time. And after I retired that business, I went on to work for the parent company in selling franchisees. So I seeked out entrepreneurs and seeked out whether this business opportunity would be good for them. So when I looked at USANA, I was like, oh my gosh, this is even better than a franchise model. And it's something that I can really explain well to other people. It made a lot of sense to me. From a health perspective, that was where I thought was kind of my weakest link. I was doing it more because I wanted to get healthy myself, but I wasn't necessarily feeling that maybe I was ready to help other people get healthy, but I was open to learning. So I was really excited about that, and I was going to start with me. But beyond that business experience, I had, I guess I could call it like a manufacturing craft business at one point. And I had done different entrepreneurial projects. So I came into this business really feeling like, you know what, I got this covered. I had never worked in network marketing before. And so, but I just figured, it's just like every and all business. This is the thing that for new people, if you've never had a network marketing business before, if I can save you months and months of frustration with this tip, please listen. Network marketing is an energy business. So what do I mean about that? When you're meeting with somebody, whether it be for your product or your business, there's a sense of like unspoken words between you. So words are going to be coming out of your mouth about your business opportunity and your products. But the conversation and the decision-making is all going on underneath at the energy level. So they pick up, even though your words may say, I'm really excited, I'm really passionate. If your energy is fear, fear of rejection or uncertainty or unclarity, that's going to come out on the energetic level. They're going to pick that up. They might not say no, but they might say something like, let me think about it. Let me get back to you. Let me see how you do, and I'll join you later on, because they hear your words, but they really know underneath that that's not the energy you're giving off. And they might not even be conscious of it. You know, we as humans, we just pick up on these things. And especially women, we tend to go with our gut when it comes to decisions. So for me, as people were talking about energy, I really didn't get it. Now, after I had done my work on self-esteem, I noticed that I was better able to control my emotions a little bit more. So that was good. I could pick up my emotions and my energy using my affirmations. And I felt like even if I had rejection, I felt like my self-worth and my self-esteem was still intact. So that piece was done. So I would say that if you're not there, if that's something that you've got to work on, that's number one. After you get that taken care of, number two is going to be finding a way to lift up your energy throughout the day, especially before you go and sit down to meet with people. Because, like I said, they're going to pick up on that. So there can be a few ways that you can go about doing this. You know, for those people that really love physical things like exercise, you could simply go for a walk and listen to a beautiful piece of music, and your energy is going to be uplifted. You can go to that meeting feeling 100% aligned and your best self. For me, I was more somebody that was almost like a visual person. And I also liked audio. So what I did is I used my PowerPoint presentation and I pulled images from the internet of what my future life was going to look like, so that I could look at that and get a picture of what I was building and what I was going to be sharing with other people. So that would get me excited. And then what I also did is I had my affirmations written out. I put them on affirmation cards. So I would have those in my car and I would pull them out and read them. As I got more sophisticated, I got this little handheld recording tool, and today you can just use your phone. And I actually recorded my affirmations so that I would read off all my affirmations. And then before I was going to a meeting, if I was in the car, I could just press play and listen to it like a radio. I could do that throughout the day, which was really nice because there were times when I was alone and I could pick myself up. And also when I was getting ready in the morning or cooking dinner at night, I could listen. So those were ways that you could pick yourself up. Of course, meditation is great, but you're unlikely to meditate before you're going out to a presentation. So you've got to be a little bit mindful. There's going to be certain things that you can use throughout the day, depending on your activity. So know your tools and use them, but that's going to bring your energy frequency up. And that's what people are going to pick up on. I've got to tell you, it was so funny when I started my business. I would show up, I'm not kidding you, with piles of paper so I could go through facts about the company. I could go through facts about the stock price or the actual products or the regulations. I promise you, nobody cares about that, okay? So it's going to be, they do want to know basic information, which you probably already know because you had to be able to make a decision about the business. But it's going to be your energy that's going to help people create a sense of urgency and make a decision more quickly, okay? Now, don't worry if you haven't got everything right from the beginning. That's not really what matters. This is a learning process. You have to be kind and gentle with yourself, and just keep working away at it because it's really going to come. Okay, so my last tip that I'm going to share with you is coming to it. Flipping between my screens is not quite quick yet. Okay, simple steps plus consistent action leads to a fortune. And I know I've probably shared this tip time and time again, so I'm hoping that it clicks with you and resonates with you and you hear it in almost a different way this time. Because it's so, I cannot emphasize how powerful it is. Now, the reason why this is significant is that most people, especially in today's world, are going to be hesitant on picking up a new business project because they're busy. Our lives are busy. Our lives are busy with even stuff that we don't really want to do. We don't even know we don't want to do them. We're just busy. And it actually feels good feeling busy because even if we're not necessarily being successful, it feels like we're trying. Now, when you get that moment alone with yourself, you know that that's not the case, and you know that's something that you're looking to change. So as I got started in the business, one of my biggest objections to starting was that I really wasn't sure that I had the time. And as I got into the business, after I got through the self-worth stuff, as I got through the energy stuff, I started to, I was always doing action on my business during those times. It just wasn't having any major breakthroughs, and I wasn't able to gain any momentum. So the energy, those things are important. I want you to encourage to stay in action during those times, because that's where you're going to be picking up the actual tactical skills pieces. But this business can be done on very little time per day. So it really, like, if I had to guess, you might even be able to do it less than what I did, but about 20 minutes per day can lead to a fortune. So here's what I did. I used organization as and being organized and on top of things to my advantage. So at the beginning of every month, I usually would choose a Sunday when I could get maybe 2 hours alone. And for all the parents out there, I know this can sometimes be a challenge. So you either probably have to leave the house, go to a coffee shop, or go somewhere where you can be isolated with no interruptions, no phone, not even your email, for about 2 hours. But it's going to save you so much time over the course of the month. I promise you, you'll be thankful that you did it. So when you go there, what you know is that on any given week, you want to be reaching out to 10 individual people. So in our case of USANA, we're reaching out to people about the products to help improve their health or the business. So you want to have about 40 people to reach out to in any given month, 10 people per week, if I have to throw specific numbers at you, for example. What I found is that I could easily get through those stats, no problem, and get results as long as I was organized at the beginning of the month. So for example, you would sit down, go through, maybe your phone, maybe the business cards on your computer, business cards on your desk, your social media contacts, which now our accounts are huge, LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram. I mean, it could go on and on. You might almost have to just choose one social media for 1 month and go to another social media platform the other month. These days, everybody has so many connections. So as I would go through my connections, I would actually have a piece of paper and I would jot down people's name, how I was going to reach out to them. Phone was my preference. So if I didn't have their phone number, how was I going to reach out to them on social media? I might just send them a message and say, hey, I'd love to give you a call. I actually don't have your personal cell phone number. Would you mind if I gave you a ring? And then if they reply back, usually they gave me their phone number and then I could call them. So I'd have their name, how I was going to reach out to them, why I was thinking of them. So if I was thinking about the products, I thought, you know what, they mentioned to me last time I saw them, they didn't have any energy. I don't know if that's been resolved for them, but I might have a solution for them. I'm going to call and find out. Or somebody that, maybe they're an amazing people person, and just deep down, I'm like, oh my gosh, if I could work with this person, I would just love that. I would love to pick up their phone calls. I would love to do an activity or a project with them. And so they might be somebody that I would reach out to say, hey, listen, I've started a project outside of work. It's with a health and wellness company, and in an industry that helps prevent degenerative disease. And the reason why I thought of you, and I'm hoping you're open to hearing me out and listening to it, is because you are such a great people person, and I would love to spend time with you on a project. So that said, I don't know if you have a need, but if you're willing to take a look, I'm sure that after our conversation, you'll know whether this is something to interest you or not. So that's usually how I went about it. So I would jot down why I was reaching out to them. And then I would almost break up, once I got to a list of 40 people, I would break up, week 1, week 2, week 3. If I had time in that 2 hours, I might draft up a few emails so that I'd have something saved in my drafts. And then, that was it. And then Monday, when I was at work, I would either have 20 minutes, maybe on my coffee break, or after work, or I remember even going out to my car just to make a few calls. I knew what I was doing because I had my list, I had my email drafts. Literally, I would time it, and it might take me 10, maximum 15 minutes. And I could do a minimum of 2 invites per day. Typically what I did is I did most of my invites over a day or 2, and then I would do my presentations the rest of the week. And then that still allowed me, as the weeks went on, the rest of the week, as I had those 10 or 15 minute chunks, most of my time was spent just following up with people. As we know in our business, as in any business these days, fortune is in the follow-up. People ask a lot of questions and they want to know information, but we also have to really stay on top of people more than ever to re-loop with them. Make sure they got the information. Did it make sense to them? Is that what they wanted? Is this something that they would like to buy? Or is this something they'd like to partner with? You really have to feel comfortable following up with people because that's what people expect. They expect that level of professionalism. So those are my 3 tips. I really hope that they help you, and maybe they resonate with you and it's something that you can utilize and put into action right away. And I promise to bring you another valuable training seminar next Monday night. Let's hope that this recording worked. Okay, thanks guys.